Hey everybody, Josh Seartson of World Alternative Media here, and we are here in Las Vegas for Freedom Fest, and we are joined by the one and only investment expert and author, Jim Rogers. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while about quite a few things, and one of those would be when it comes to global central banking, the global central banking fiat empire, the fundamentals are largely off the table due to the level of manipulation in the monetary system. So it's hard to pinpoint a date on it, but we know the crash is coming, as it always has come eventually in the near 1,000 years since fiat currency has been utilized, going back to, I believe, 1024 AD in China. And with that said, how close do you think we really are to the crash that we should have seen years ago?
Well, Josh, normally when these things happen, they start slowly and they work their way down, and then the crash is the last thing, and everybody knows it by then. But if you remember 2007, Iceland went bankrupt. Most people say, well, what? What is Iceland? Then Ireland, then Bear Stearns, then Lehman Brothers, and then everybody knew. Then it was even on TV. So that's the way it's going to happen again. And I would say that will probably happen 2019, but it'll start before then.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of, I mean, with the raise of interest rates, albeit very small, it seems to be exactly what you would see right before a crash. And I mean, the central banking system is panicking. Janet Yellen claimed recently that we won't see a crisis in our lifetime, which is an unfortunate thing to hear from someone who is supposed to be in charge of the economy. But
she's supposed to know what she's doing. She has no clue.
No.
It's been clear she's been down there 15 years at least. She, if anybody gets the credit for this, she more than Bernanke, she more than Greenspan. It's gonna, but it's not gonna work. You know, someday we're all gonna laugh. The history book's gonna be full of how Mrs. Yellen said, "We'll never have a problem again."
It's kind of crazy. She went to the hospital a few weeks ago. I'm not going to go into why, but it was a medical condition that usually causes delusion, and I think that even without that, it's still pretty delusional. But now there's a lot of talk about investment, which is wise. But how does Jim Rogers best insure himself in the inevitable event of a massive dollar crash?
Well, at the moment, I own a lot of U.S. dollars, and I own them not because it's a sound currency. I own it because when problems come, people look for a safe haven. Now, they think, for historic reasons, the U.S. dollar is a safe haven. It's not. America's the largest debtor nation in the history of the world, and the debts are going higher and higher and higher. But everybody thinks it's a safe haven. They're not going to rush into the euro. They're not going to rush into most currencies that we could name. So what will happen is the dollar will go higher, and by the way, as the turmoil gets worse, Mrs. Yellen and the others will do their best to stop. They will print again, lower interest, whatever they're going to do, they will try again. It won't work. It won't work except temporarily. But the dollar's going to go higher, and hopefully when it turns into overpriced or a bubble, which it could, depending on how bad the turmoil is, then I'm going to sell my U.S. dollars at the top, of course, and then I would put my money into gold, renminbi, I don't know what. I have some ideas. But the dollar will totally collapse, but it's going to go up a lot first.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are a little bit skeptical about cryptocurrencies. I know yourself, you haven't really gone into it that much because obviously you're not going to go into something that you don't know the full scale of, and it's a new system. It's very new, going back to 2009. But you have to admit, like, there's a lot of a big example of people losing faith in the fiat system when they're flooding the crypto market, where it goes from an $18 billion market cap in January to $115 billion in June. Do you think there's any? Do you think it's reasonable for people to be putting money into cryptocurrencies?
Well, I wish I had. The Bitcoin has gone up, you know, what, 100 times more. So I wish I had. I wish I hadn't been so foolish. But now there are, I think, 2,000 cryptocurrencies, at least 800. Whichever count you want to use. So I certainly don't know which of the few hundred is going to come out on top, if any. If any, one will, obviously. All our money is going to be on the computer someday. I don't have any cryptocurrencies at the moment. I wish I'd been smart enough. I do know that our money's all going to be computerized eventually. Whether it's Bitcoin or not, I don't know.
See, that's another issue, because the centrally planned cashless system that we're seeing pop up in India, China, Australia, Sweden, Canada, and to a good scale in the United States as well, that's worrying a lot of people, because I often say, if your money's in the bank, it's not yours, it's the bank's. And if your money's always going through the banks through digital transactions and you never hold it in your hands, does that not mean that the bank basically owns you?
Well, it means the government owns you, because the government is very keen to have no cash. Governments don't like cash, but if all your money is on your computer, then they know everything you do. They can call you up and say, you're drinking too much coffee.
Yeah.
You had too many cups of coffee yesterday.
Yeah.
They will know everything,
Yeah.
And they like that. And they can control it. And if they want to, they just close your account or block your account very easily just on your computer. So the government is very keen on it, which of course means that we should all be against it. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to stop it.
Of course. Well,
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. I'm Brother Samak. I'm from the GMS Miami camp. And this is just a video just showing you how even these top investors understand the situation when it will, and it's going to happen, where society will become cashless. All right. Now, I want to bring this scripture out because, you know, we here at Great Millstone, we've been saying this time and time again that, hey, you know, they're going to bring out the microchip, and they want to cashless society, and they want to get away from the American dollar. And that's the reason why the economy is the way it's at. There's so much debt. The dollar isn't powerful like it was 20 years ago. It's because they're depleting it. They're getting rid of it so they can go cashless, and so they can force you to have a microchip, like Jim Rogers just said, to have everything on a computer, to have your currency on a computer. So the government is keen to see what you are doing, what you're spending your money on, and that's what they want. They want total control. But I want to read the scripture out because this is makes a lot of sense, because it has to, you know, in the society we live in, people rather listen to rich people and their advice and their opinion than people that are at the bottom, because that's how you know this society is built on vanity, is built on lust, and is built coveting. All right. This is Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 13, verse 23. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith. Right. When Jim Rogers speaks, you see how that fucking maggot right here was just listening to him. Yeah, wow, yeah, because he's a multi-millionaire. And this guy right here, he's a broke-ass bitch. So he's going to listen to everything he has to say, because guess what? His eyes, the lust of what this man has, the position he has, all right, is intriguing to him. He's fond of it. So he's going to listen to everything he has to say, okay? Even though we here at Great Millstone, we've been telling you that the economy is going to collapse. We're going to tell you that they're going into a cashless society. They're going to bring out the microchip, which they have been, all right? So the RFID chip is here today. But it just goes to show you that, once again, let's go back to scripture. When a rich man speaketh, Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 23, when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds. But if a poor man speaketh, they say, what fellow is this? Right. You look at us on the highways and byways, look at us at Great Millstone, like, who are these guys, man? Get a job, all right? Get off the streets. You're just talking madness. You're crazy, right? But if it was people like Jim Rogers or Bill Gates or Warren Buffett that were on the streets, you would take an ear to, all right? You would listen, all right, and hear everything they have to say, all right, because that's the society we live in, man, vanity, and you people love that shit, all right? What fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him, right? And you will help to overthrow us here at Great Millstone, all right? You hate that we say America is going to be destroyed. America is going down. They're going to bring out the microchip, And they have been, all right? It's not even they're going to bring out, it's already out. Now, the last thing is to make it mandatory, okay? So now, that scripture should resonate because this is what we're dealing with, all right? And that's why, we know we have 2/3 amongst our people, man, and you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, majority are going to die because you rather listen to a so-called white man than us, all right? So you're going to die, and that's cool because you 2/3 got to die. So this is to the street for those that want to listen beyond, okay, what the white man has to say. Just articles that I like to bring out. The U.S. dollar could crash to crash 20%. Now we understand that this devil Jim Rogers is saying that when things start getting rough, then everybody runs to the American dollar as a safe haven, right? Which makes sense. Why? Because the American dollar is the reserve currency of the world. It's not going to be like that very long, but when the economy starts to collapse, people run to it. And he said he's going to do it just for a short period of time so it gains certain amount of value. Then he's going to sell it all because it's going to be overvalued. All right? And you can watch my other video to prove that case because everything is overvalued. But you already have people from the street already saying, hey, the dollar will crash, okay, 20%. And why is that? It says, foreign exchange expert Douglas Berthwitz says the U.S. dollar might plunge another 20% in the second half as he believes the Trump administration wants a weaker greenback that will benefit U.S. trade. All right. It says, quote, we got another 20% to go before I feel satisfied that the U.S. has reached that weaker dollar policy. All right. So it says he has reached that weaker dollar policy. And goes on and says, he said the U.S. dollar index is lower than it was before Donald Trump's election, but it's still not low enough. The weaker dollar policy that the Trump administration is pursuing is based on making the U.S. competitive, and it has to be competitive not just for a couple of months where the dollar is weak, but for the next 4 to 8 years. Right. Why does it need to be competitive? Because it's had to go against these other nations, and they're selling their products a lot cheaper than we're selling our, excuse me, not me, you American crackers are selling your products. So that's the reason why they want a weaker dollar, so that when the products go overseas, they're competitive. Okay, the prices are competitive enough so that China, India, Europe, all right, can be able to afford our, okay, it's not our, I mean, America's products, all right? Get that out, man. That's how you know I've been in Babylon for too long. I keep saying our. Fuck this place. What I'm saying is America's products, okay? And that's just in terms of finance, all right? If you know anything about trading, okay? Long story short, fuck this place. A declining U.S. dollar could boost sectors besides manufacturing, such as commodities, which are generally denominated in dollars. See, that's the reason why, commodities. And that's why Donald Trump wants a weaker dollar so he can be able to sell commodities abroad, okay, at a competitive price, all right, if you can't get that. Anyway, continuing on, the greenback is now at its lowest point since September 2016, according to Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. President Trump has divided from his administration on dollar policy, though Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin is said a strong dollar is good for the U.S. economy. Trump has said he prefers a weak dollar because that benefits manufacturing. Right. So you're having division. This is another reason why America's out and they're going to go into a cashless society. They're going to get rid of this dollar because there's too much division. It's not stable, and investors are looking at America like you're not able to control what's going on within your own government. So we're going to invest elsewhere. So we're not going to invest in your dollars. And eventually, even when the economy collapses, more and more people are going to get away from the dollar. And just like Jim Rogers said, yeah, in the beginning, you make a profit, but when it starts getting bad, they're going to run away from it because the American dollar is becoming an illusion. Everybody's seeing it, and they're going to run away from it. And like this article says, this gentleman sees it going down 20%. So, you know, Jim Rogers, man, he might even lose money. So he better think he better think on his feet. Because at the end of the day, this is all set up, okay, to collapse the dollar and to get into what's known as a cashless society. And Reuters said it this best: cashless society getting closer, survey finds. And before I read this, let's get into a scripture. Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Right. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. And that's why we here at Great Millstone, we get into current events. Because this is wisdom and stability, man. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times. Because we understand what's going on. We understand that the economy is going to collapse. The dollar is going to crash. And they want to go into a cashless society. All right. And strength of salvation, right? Because we understand that our salvation is close when this happens. When the dollar collapses and they say, okay, it's time to go cashless, we understand perfectly. Okay? It goes on and says, the fear of the Lord is the treasure, right? We fear the Lord. So we understand the Lord's program because we fear him. That's why we read the Bible, because we understand the Lord's program. And by understanding the Lord's program, you must fear him. All right? So let's read this article from the Cashless Society getting close. This is Reuters, by the way, and the Rothschilds control this news meter, by the way. Cashless Society getting close, survey finds. All right, there it goes on and says, let me exit out. It says this is from London Reuters. All right, this is the Rothschilds headquarters. Okay, it says more than a third of Europeans and Americans would be happy to go out without cash and rely on electronic forms of payments if they could. And at least 20% already pretty much do so, a study showed on Wednesday. All right? So this is, all right, a lot of people are gearing up for a cashless society. They want it. They think it's beneficial. And as long as the so-called white race want it, the rest of the other nations will follow because you love following the so-called white man, all right? Especially our people. Sad as hell, but anyway. The study, which was conducted in 13 European countries, the United States, Slovakia, and Australia, also found that in many places where cash is most used, people are among the keenest to ditch it. All right? Here's that word keenness again. Jim Rogers said the government is keen to it. All right? Excuse me. All right? This little piece of shit. All right? He said the government was keen to it. And look, in that article, people are keen to it, right? Because it's trendy. Being cashless is trendy now, okay? Overall, 34% of respondents in Europe and 38% in the United States said they would be willing to go cash-free, according to the survey conducted by IPOS for the ING Bank website Easy Economics. 21% and 34% in Europe and the United States, respectively, said they already rarely used cash. They said they already rarely use cash. You see that? So already the peons, the maggots, the sheep, already using other forms of, okay, transactions to buy their merchandise than the dollar, okay? And it makes a lot of sense because, you know, we're the millennial generation, the millennial generation and the Generation Zs, they're so quick, I need it now, that they wouldn't mind doing transactions on their cell phone, transactions on their computer, okay? And paying things online, using PayPal, using their internet banking, so on and so forth, all right? Let's go to another article. Going cashless. Bad for tax, cheats, privacy, poor. Okay? So let's continue on. This is from Bloomberg, and this came out July 17th, 2017. It says, do we need cash? Humans have used all sorts of things to exchange items of economic value. Rare metals, strings of shells, and even sunken boulders. Those objects have gotten more ephemeral, with paper money replacing most coins, and digital forms increasingly supplanting paper. Cashless society's coming, all right? They're going to implement the RFID chip, all right? This is happening now. We're in these times. Could physical cash go away entirely? Economists see great payoffs in a cashless society. Economists see great payoffs in a cashless society. Lower transaction costs, new tools to manage economic growth, and and an end to tax evasion and money laundering. See, that's how they're going to sell it to you monkeys out there. Look, you know, people will pay their fair share of tax. The rich won't get away with money laundering. Drug dealers won't get away with money laundering. Drug dealers won't get away with money laundering. Drug dealers won't get away with money laundering. See? Look at that, man. I can run for president, all right? Just how easy it is to manipulate you stupid fucking people out there. Continuing on. Critics see an end to privacy, frightening new powers for tyrants and costs that would fall disproportionately on the poor. But really, who are those critics? The lower percentile of people, which the rich and the elite don't give a fuck. So this is all in vain to have critics, because critics ain't gonna mean shit. Because even Jim Rogers just said, an insider who brushes shoulders with the elite, this piece of shit, said it's going to happen. Okay? The government's keen, all right, on having a cashless society, so they can see what you're doing. So it doesn't really matter what a critic has to say. But I just wanted to read it to you to show you that this shit is just a setup, man. The giant, if unintended, experiment that followed India's attempt to withdraw 86% of cash in the circulation showed one thing clearly. The end of cash is not likely to be a neat or simple process. Yeah, because you're going to have people rebel against it. People talking about, no, that's the, you know, we can't do that. All right, it's going to end up, our privacy is going to be taken away. Our security is going to be taken away. But guess what? It doesn't really matter. Once they make it a law, if the Lord ain't dealing with you, you will take it. Okay? Period. Okay? Continuing on. This is from BBC, British Broadcast Center. It says the surprising truths and myths about microchip implants. Microchip implants now being offered to workers by some companies do come with risks, but not the ones you might imagine. So let's read it. It says, the tiny bump on the back of Dave Williams' hand is barely noticeable. Most people would miss the rice grain size lump between his thumb and forefinger at first. It is only when the 33-year-old opens his front door and wave of his hand that it becomes clear something strange is going on. And and this is just me, in my spiritual opinion, this is a freaking setup. This is a bullshit story, all right, set up by the elite. Because how convenient that he's 33 years old. How convenient. And if you know anything about secret societies, right, the Freemasons, 33 degrees, all right, is their highest rank. And that's when you willfully know that you worship Lucifer. It's just so funny that they put he's 33 years old. Not to go off topic, just I thought I'd point that out. Continuing on. Embedded under William's skin is a microchip and electronic circuit inside a pill-shaped glass capsule that can be used much like a contactless credit card. Okay? So yeah, get rid of the credit cards. It's all about getting chipped. That's the agenda. That's what's trendy in the world, especially what's coming here to America. Here's an x-ray. Got the chip. All right? This is BBC, by the way. All right? This ain't no fucking alternative media. This is a mainstream media conglomerate. A multi-billion-dollar company. All right? So for you fucking unbelievers, you can shut the fuck up and go kill yourself. Continuing on. Williams, a system engineer at software from Mozilla, is one of a growing number of so-called quote-unquote biohackers who are choosing to augment their bodies with technology. In Williams' case, he chose to implant a radio frequency identification, RFID chip, into his hand out of curiosity. Right, because it's so fucking trendy to you maggots out there. That's why you so-called white people got to die, because you're steering the world to take the chip. But it's all good, because the elect are not going to take the chip, all right? Yeah, the 2/3 will take it, all right, because they're fucking retards anyway, morons. But the elect are not going to take it. Lord willing, I'm part of the elect. But this is something I put my spirit on. I put my mind on. I'm not fucking taking that chip. All right? Let's continue on. The procedure has essentially turned him into a walking contactless smart card. By registering a tag with a variety of devices, he can use it to trigger certain functions such as transferring his contact details to a friend's mobile phone. You see how so convenient that is? Because it's so fucking trendy, all right? That's how they're going to sell it to you maggots out there. Another level of convenience. Quote, I have the world's worst memory, says Williams. The fact that he now has a gadget on him at all times that opens doors and unlocks computer, one that he can't leave at home or forget, is a huge advantage. Quote, it's also fun to give someone my number and an email address by touching their phone to my hand. You see how convenient that is? And look at this. This is a fucking... Visitors discuss microchip implants at a 2017 Wearables Festival in Berlin. They're making it a festival. They're making it trendy and fun to take a chip. Look, RFID, radio frequency identification device, and NFC, I forgot, well, you know what, let me look up that acronym. I forgot what it was. I remember the Apostles bring that out as well. NFC chip. Let's just look at that on Google. Slovakia. NFC is called, see, Wikipedia already got it. Near field communication. There you go. All right. Near field communication, Wikipedia. Look how easy that was to research. Not even 10 seconds. Yet you so-called black Spanish and Native Americans, would you even take the time to do this? No. You know, that's why 2/3 of you will die. You're going to fucking die, man. Just get ready. All right. Let's get back. It says, the new level of convenience is one of the biggest draws for those installing implantable RFID implants. And the number of people experimenting with the devices is growing. One manufacturer of chips, Dangerous Things, all right, and I reported that a couple of videos back. Dangerous Things, I remember talking about this company. Dangerous Things told CNBC last year that it's had sold more than 10,000 of them. That's right. So you have 10,000 maggots, sheep, people that are destined for the fire, walking around with RFID chip, all right? Along with the kits needed to install them under the skin. But as they become more widespread, concerns are growing about what the trend might mean for personal privacy and security. And guess what that means? Nothing, because you're going to take it and you're going to shut the fuck up. Because you're going to, once they collapse the economy, that's why the economy is going to collapse, because it's going to force you to take the chip, even though you're going to know that your security, your personal information will be auctioned off to the highest bidder. But you're not going to give a fuck, because once that dollar crashes, your dollar's worth shit, and you're not going to be able to eat, you're not going to be able to buy, and you're going to be like, you know what? I got to get the chip in order to survive. And that's when you'll sell out, you fucking people, because you're weak and you don't have faith. All right? Let's continue on. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? And that's Revelation 13 and 16. Revelation 13 and 16 said it, all right? And he causeth all, both small and great, right? Doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, all right? You're going to take the chip if you don't have faith in the Most High, all right? Rich and poor, free and bond, right? We also have people that are considered, from another news article, that there are slaves, all right, here. And there are slaves here. In fact, if you're in America, you are a slave, all right? You're financially a slave. You're slaves to central bankers and these governments that work hand in hand with each other, okay? And you can, CNBC said that too. Are we slaves to central bankers? You can look that up. Google it. Google it. YouTube it, you fucking idiots. To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? And that's it, the chip, the microchip, RFID chip. The chip that the apostles of Great Millstone have been saying over 30 years, okay? Starting with Apostle R. They've been saying it, all right? So you got to give credit where credit is due. They've been saying it. That's what's coming, okay? Last article, and then I'm going to close out. Wisconsin company embedded microchips in its worker, right? So they did it. Last week, a lot of brothers from GMS, all right, put out a whole bunch of articles about the microchip in Wisconsin. All right, I put it out one too, just to back up with the economy imploding. So that's going to be the contingency plan. The order of out of a chaos plan is to get the chip if you want to continue buying and selling. But this is the reason why I brought this out, because CNBC okay, did a report on it. It says Wisconsin company embedded microchips in its workers. Some 40 workers at 3 Square Market, a firm that makes cafeteria kiosks, had tiny microchips embedded in their hands. See, they already did it. Company officials said it was for convenience, allowing them to bypass using company badges and corporate computer logons. Okay, and there it is. All right, they put the little Band-Aid, you know, the chips underneath it, because you bleed. Anyway, what kind of fucked up shit is that? And for all you little maggots out there talking about you're Christians, huh? Where in the Bible does it say to put shit in your hand and then put a bandage over it so that you can continue commerce? All right? Where does it say that at? Where does it say in the Bible to implant your hand so that you can continue commerce? It doesn't say that at all. It says if you take it, you will fucking die. Okay? And that's why, you know, we here at Great Millstone, we get so passionate and we curse you people out on the streets. All right? We condemn y'all because you people on the streets are fucking pathetic. Local firms here made good today on its vow to embed employees with microchips. Sporting. Look what they were sporting. I got chipped. What kind of fuck? You know, like, that's why the Lord's got to kill you fucking people on the planet, man. You wicked people, man. Starting with you so-called white people. You got to get it. Sporting, I got chipped. Like, this is fucking trendy. Like, this is cool to get chipped. T-shirts. Some 40 workers at 3 Square Market, a firm that makes cafeteria kiosks aiming at replacing vending machines, Slovakia, got tiny rice-sized microchips embedded in their hands. That's the microchip, man. That's the RFID chip. I just read it, okay? Company officials said it was for convenience, a way for them to bypass using company badges and corporate logons to computers. You see that shit? That's how they're going to get you, man. All right? I know at my job, all right, I have like 4 to 7 different passwords that I have written down. But I can just see how they're going to sell it, you know. And there's a lot of people like get so irritated about these passwords to log onto their computers, all right, for security issues. Yet they're going to say, no, don't worry about it. You take the chip, it's all good, all right? You don't have to worry about passwords. Now they say, continuing on, now they say can just have their hands read by a reader, similar to using a smartphone to pay for goods. This is the key point. The company would like to see payments go cashless, as iPhone users do with Apple Pay, except in this case, consumers use their hand instead of a smartphone to pay. The chip is not a tracker, nor does it have GPS, which is fucking bullshit, man. That's a lie. Global positioning system, that's set up already, man. The satellites already have it set up. So the boss can't track your movements, company officials say. Still, to those who worry about Big Brother having more control over our lives, 3 Square Market President Patrick McMullen says you should, quote, take your cell phone and throw it away. Right, he's mocking you because your cell phone's already a tracker. So you see how they're going to make it so trendy? They're going to be like, look, you're already being tracked with the cell phone. That's why Edward Snowden came out with all that. You see where it's going? They don't put shit on the news media, all right, to make you think you got some fucking knowledge and you feel like you know what's going on. They put shit on the news media to set you up, okay, for the big agenda. Edward Snowden said that the NSA is already tracking you. It doesn't matter. They got you by your cell phone. They got you by your TV, all right? They got you by your microwave. So it's so prevalent to be like, you know what? They're already tracking you. Just take the chip. All right? You're being tracked anyway. You're right. You know what? We are being tracked. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't matter. Fine. At least I'll be able to buy and sell. And that's how they get you. All right? So, all right. You know, you got to understand the devil, man. You got to understand his tactics. Scriptures, I believe in Corinthians said, be not ignorant to Satan's devices, man. All right? You can't be. In fact, let me see if I can find it real quickly. Slovakia. Just, the Spirit jumped on me to find this one. Be not ignorant to Satan's devices. All right? What scripture is that? 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Just bring it up. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, right? We here at Great Millstone, we understand what's going on. All right? It's you Muppets out there. As Goldman Sachs has to call y'all when y'all, you Muppets out there, all right? You are you're taken advantage of by Satan. For we are not ignorant of his devices, right? We are not ignorant of his devices, okay? Because we're not getting, okay, we're not letting Satan have an advantage over us, okay? Because we're not ignorant of his devices. We understand what he puts on mainstream media, CNN or Fox News, is to set an agenda, a precedent, all right? Last scripture, and then I'm gonna close out. Revelation 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, right? If you worship the beast and image, right, you accept America. And you accept what America stands for. Homosexuality, transgenderism, okay? Cashless society, fiat currency, Federal Reserve printing money out of thin air, all that shit, all right? If you accept that, all right, and receive his mark in his forehead, right, because you're going to say, you know what, I accept everything. I accept the lies. I accept the deceit. I accept all the lies that America has told me, and I'm going to take the mark, whether in your hand or in your forehead. Verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, right? You're going to drink of that wrath, all right? What's that wrath? Which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And what's that indignation? Righteous judgment. Last days, day of judgment. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, right? And what's that talking about? Torment with fire and brimstone, meaning when Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, all these nations, even Europe, start launching intercontinental ballistic missiles into America, into a city near you. That's when you're going to be tormented. Because you think you're just going to die with a snap of a finger? Hell no. The Lord's going to have your spirit basking in that flame. And here's the proof of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone. Tormented, right? That's torture, okay? In the presence of the holy angels, right? The angels who look like so-called black people, okay? The angels are very dark. And in the presence of the Lamb, right? Who's a so-called black man, all right? Who's the Lamb? Yahweh Shai, all right? Who the world even calls Jesus. Verse 11. And the smoke, you see the devil? You see that? If that was an agent, an operative, CIA, FBI, man, you guys are going to die in these last days too. So if you're listening, you're going to die too, all right? Don't think you're going to get away scot-free. The Lord got your number. Verse 11. And the smoke of their torment extended up forever and ever. Right. Their torment extended up forever and ever. Right. It's going to be a long torment, all right? Even you 2/3 are going to be tormented for a very long time. And they have no rest day or night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever, this fucking government, stop this shit, man. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. That's right. So you piece of shits, you CIA operatives and your FBI operatives and your NSA operatives and you behind the shadow government, you shadow elite, all right? You're going to be tortured in these last days when them nukes hit, all right? Because if you're building a bunker here in America, them nukes are going to destroy your bunker and you're going to bask in that bunker. You're going to bake in it, okay? It's going to be like a hot oven. It's going to be beautiful. Because you took the mark, you took the chip, and you thought it was going to be beneficial to you, and it wasn't. And you 2/3 that follow the so-called white man and doing what he's about to do, you have no shot in hell. Because at least the so-called white man, all right, those that are here and are the elite that took the chip, they're going to be in their bunkers. And those are the ones that are outside of America in their bunkers. But you, that don't have a bunker, don't even have a shot in hell to escape. You're going to bask. You're going to be tormented. Verse 12, I'm going to close after this. Here is the patience of the saints. Who are the saints? The Israelites, starting with the elect. All right, Lord willing, I'm part of the elect, but this is the patience that I have. Here are they that keep the commandments of God. Right, you're supposed to keep the commandments. That's an instruction. That's a direction by the Most High. All right, that's why he had the commandments set up and built under Moses. But you people here, Yes, our people, because we're the Israelites. We're the chosen race. You don't even want to get to know the Lord, right? That's why a lot of you so-called black Hispanics in America, you're going to die, man. A horrible death. And the faith of Yahweh Shai, right? That's having faith, knowing the times we live in, knowing they're going to implement the RFID chip, which is known as the mark of the beast, according to the Bible, okay? You take that mark, you die, okay? And that's the mark, okay? It's the mark, because you worship the beast, all right? And with that, Lord willing, let's edify. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostle of Great Millstone. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing the truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, I love you, brothers. Keep up the faith. Keep enduring. As well as you sisters that are watching. Keep up the faith. Keep enduring. We're almost out of here. And with that, you know our slogan. 1, 2, 3, death to America. Shalom.